First up, I'd like to, I'd say welcome to the stage, but he's appeared. Fabrice Fischer, founder and CEO of Blue Limited, who will be talking us through artificial intelligence and profitability. Welcome, Fabrice.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, so thank you so much for waking up so early. 9 o'clock, you are here. Congratulations, you've made it. So artificial intelligence, you've heard about the word. It became a massive buzzword. But then, truly, what is behind? So before I do that, maybe I'll introduce myself. So you know where I come from, so I'll do that from... I used to be a Bain consultant in doing strategy consulting. I became the CFO, CEO of a boutique investment bank, and there I was in charge of asset management and private banking, which means I know this industry from the inside. And then about, 8 years ago, I joined Sentient Technologies. By that time, you had no AI company, or you have very few AI company. I was still in a winter kind of stage. And you had Viv, Vicarious, DeepMind, and Sentient were the 4 biggest AI companies, I mean, except for the very large companies. And you know what happened with DeepMind? It's got been bought by Google. You know what happened with Viv? It's got bought by Samsung. So, and we raised over 150 million at Sentient in 4 years. And we had Likashing as a backer, which means I have seen everything in AI above the radar in the Silicon Valley for the last 8 years. So quite interesting. What do we do at Blue? Well, we do AI consulting, AI strategy. We work with asset managers, with investment banks. We have tech experts, we have business experts. Actually, AI is not so much about tech, it's about the use case. And why I'm saying that? Because the use case is about the profitability. It's, if you have your use case right, you have the value right, then the technology will follow. Okay, we work for private equity, VC, hedge funds, and financial services. Now I have a question for you. Who's the best? AI or the human? So whoever thinks the human is the best, please raise your hand. Wow. Whoever thinks AI is the best, please raise your hand. Okay. I apologize for that early in the morning because actually I tricked you. Of course, the combination is better. Huh? The human thinks very wide, has access to a massive data set which the computer does not have access to. We have ways and patterns computer does not have, but the computer goes systematically and very deep. Okay, so it's a combination of AI and machine. We call it artificial intelligence. While I'm in the space for so many years, I tend to call it augmented intelligence. Now, why now? I mean, you know why. I mean, the theory AI is not new. AI exists since the Second World War. But why now? Evolution of the theory, but mostly it's about cost. It's about cost and capacity to do technologically. It's about the computing power. I mean, the cost per compute is becoming so low. The storage is becoming so low. And the data transport, which remains the constraint, is also quite possible. You don't move your whole data center, but you can move a large amount, or you can synchronize the data centers across location. So it's about that. It's about we can do what we were dreaming about it. And when you cross all this, you have a quantum jump in innovation. And that's what we are living today. Now, what is interesting is the data growth. The data is growing exponentially. But if you look at this, what is very interesting is actually what is the biggest part is the unstructured data. The unstructured data is the data we don't know what to do with. It's unstructured. With AI, you take this unstructured data and you actually extract something which becomes your structured data. And we very much know what to do with structured data. We saw it. By the way, computer is not smart. It's just sorting very well. Okay? Now, so when you think about it, okay, it's a big buzzword, but truly, what does it do? Why? It's of value to us. The first thing is scale. It can go through amount of data no human could ever go through. The second thing is pattern recognition. AI finds not all the patterns the human can find, but finds patterns which we cannot put together because too much data. Grouping, similarities, and extracting features from this unstructured data, you extract something which is valuable. And why is it so important? because you had a pile of data, and all companies had this pile of data, and they do nothing with it. But with that, you take from raw data, you go to information. Information is actionable knowledge. Okay, and if you apply that to customer segmentation, to customization of your products, then and you add automation, you start from data, and you end up with action. Okay, and so data is action. That's why AI is so important. Now, okay, let's go to profitability, business, and value. The stock market is, in a sense, our community's feeling about where is value. When price goes up, is because we believe, and investors are quite smart and savvy about it, we believe profitability will be with those companies. And I have a big message for you. We often, or if not always, overestimate the short-term change. We believe change is for tomorrow, and actually change is not for tomorrow. But we very often underestimate change over the duration. And this slide is about that. When you think about it, I mean, in 2006, only one company was data-driven, Microsoft. Okay, among the 10 most valuable companies on this planet. Now, we are in 18, okay, 14 years later, you got 8 companies which are data-driven, which means the whole market recognizes profitability is data-driven. 8, and even if you think about it, JP Morgan, in my view, it's a data-driven company. Well, Berkshire Hathaway, I'm not sure. Johnson & Johnson, eventually, they will be coming there. So when you think about profit, 10 years or 14 years ago, the market didn't believe profit was so much in data, but now the market believes that. Profitability is with the information. Now, if you look at direct investment in AI, the truth, it's very new, all this. Not the concept of AI since World War II, but the rush, the noise, and the investment, the throwing at resource in terms of people, talents, and everything is quite recent. And if you think about direct investment in the AI space, it's quite challenging. Actually, you have very few AI-listed companies. And even those AI-listed companies, if you listen, there is always a question in the background. Yeah, is it truly AI? They just repackaged something and they made it look like AI, but is it truly AI? And there is a reason for that. Core company in AI cannot monetize, so they are looking for use case. Use case company, vertical company, they want to acquire AI, and you have this fight. But the core company in AI so far did not manage to monetize so well, so very few went to IPO. Okay, plenty of startups. I mean, VC Scanner is monitoring over 2.6 thousand companies in AI only. Plenty of AI, some round Bs, almost no round C, no round D. So when you want to invest in this future profitability, in AI direct on public equity, it's very difficult. Okay? Now, so direct investment is not possible. There is indirect investment. I'll come back to that. But the second way to make money, so you either bet on you make money on the profitability of the stock market. The second way to bet is actually you think about if you are an investment manager, you can improve your own profitability, increase your revenue, lower your cost, and that's your operational profitability in the space. So from everything from finance, HR, that's your internal, but also customer-centric. If you go chase money, you find what does an asset manager do? Half of the time it raises money, the other half of the time it's trying to make money with that money. So if you can figure out who just exited and is cash rich, who just fundraised, who just did its last investment, it can focus your effort on the fundraising, whereas actually there is liquidity. So, yeah. Now, indirect investment, so you know them. They are the classic ones. And even I really did a check this morning. I mean, a year and a half ago, in AI, everybody was talking Facebook, Google, Baidu, NVIDIA. And I was thinking, well, okay, those are the big companies. How much of what they do is AI? And I looked again this morning, and it's the same. Hasn't changed. I don't have the next Microsoft in AI yet. I don't have the next Google in AI yet. This is not in, maybe it's listed, maybe it's there, but the market has clearly not recognized, identified one company in public equity which is the main force and the main winner of this AI adventure. Okay, so infrastructure is the classic. Then everything Internet of Things. Why Internet of Things? Because it's data. AI is about data. You get connected, you get the data. The data is unstructured, no problem. That's the strength of AI. It takes your unstructured data, does something with it. Okay? Now, when you think about that, all captors, sensors are useful. Now, it's difficult in that it's more a kind of an industrial game, if you want, and it's more difficult to find the high value because as soon as you touch industry, the margins are low. Competition is high. Okay? So what used to be super advanced AI tech, almost, fantasy world, actually became down to bolts and small things. It's your captors, your sensors, some computing. The true value actually, more and more is in the use case. It's not in core AI. Now, when you think about it, I got companies, I met some investment managers that say, okay, I want to scan the market and find the patterns. Good luck, that's been done 10 years ago by BlackRock with an army of PhDs. Unless you get the computing power, the data, and the talents, you won't beat those guys. They are there, they have the learning curve. So you find where you are strong at, and you augment that part. If your DNA is to be better than the market here, this is what you augment. Okay, don't try to do everything. It's just the space is busy. Now, when you think about the value, because profitability is about the value, where is AI impact in the value chain? All over. All over because what? It's an optimization and automation tool. So when you think about the space of investment management, trading, of course, robo-advisory, business process, customer interaction, security, KYC, name it. So when you think about profitability, you think increasing my revenue and decreasing my cost. What people tend to do, management, you know the expression, nobody ever gets fired by hiring IBM. It's a great brand for IBM, thanks for them. But the principle is the same. People tend to say, oh, I'm going to cost save. Cost save with AI is an easy sell. And it's okay. It's in a sense in your staircase to leveraging AI and become more profitable. It's easier to go to management and say, okay, if I invest X, I have my ROI by cutting cost. Okay, your leverage is only up to how much you can save. But you have a leverage, it's a proven one, it's an easy one, you go to profitability. Of course, the bigger value is not so much in reducing your cost, it's about increasing your revenues. But that's a harder sell. Because you have to innovate business model, you have to innovate in your use case. And the profitability actually, in my belief, is 80% in increasing the revenue, only 20% in cost reduction. Because you can only reduce your cost so much. And anyway, everybody is reducing their costs, automating, and everything. Now, AI applies everywhere. I won't go to the whole list online, offline. I mean, self-driving car, stores. What I would like to give you is a little bit of hope. This is for food. Actually, I'm thinking about profitability in food. Food is an industry you don't think about AI. Why AI? Now, if you think about producing food, MIT has an open agriculture project where they put in a box, they put some seeds, and they add water. They control everything, and it's a little bit expensive to do each case. But based on the DNA of the seeds, you do a few samples, and AI figures out the optimums. And then, which means if you know what seeds you are putting in, you can increase the production of your crop by quite a lot. Now, if you do that on the container level, and container can be stacked up seven times. Today, we are 7 billion on the planet. We are wasting half of our food. Okay, we could be 14 billion. Now, if this is container thing, is the AI figuring out the optimization for the crop, you can probably double the production. We can be, let's say, from 15 billion, we can be 30 billion. You can stack those containers 7 floors up. Okay, 30 billion, we could be 200 billion on this planet. As of today, would not be a problem, at least not on the food, because AI found through optimization and automation, AI enabled something which was our survival, food. Okay, so what is happening to food can happen to every case in every single industry. So I don't know your particular industry, your particular company, value proposition, but if this is true for growing crop, I mean, think about what you can do in your business. So I'm going to give you some example. Machine vision. We can now control very high, very precisely, at very high extreme condition, the way we work, the quality, the defects. When you think about this, okay, is it truly AI? AI is a big definition, but you had trading. This is a floor of UBS in New York, before, after, automation. So what you see, this kind of drastic picture where you have about 2,000 of very expensive people, traders were going on the phones and to trade, to this. I mean, here they kept something because they probably have a lease for the land, and it was cheaper to keep the people there. So this kind of transformation is happening, but not just in kind of space, it's happening in everything you do today. So you have to figure out where is the value in your business. But this is impacting profitability tremendously. You have a change in business models. Whatever you are making money today, tomorrow will be either augmented, transformed, or killed by AI. Okay, bon, you know, AI not only knows where we go, but drives us there. AI, when we go in a shop, you know, you stay in Sen and you say, I take the product A, I take the product B. AI looks at your eyes. What you see is the red zone is where you look the most. So you can apply this transformation to actually analyzing the impact of your merchandising on site. Okay? You can go much further than that. You can actually read our emotions. Okay, this guy here, he looks scary, but actually if you look, a picture is very unstructured data. You know, it's a picture. I mean, except for the box, it's a collection of pixels. Now, if you look what we do with AI today, and this is already done, they take this very unstructured data, and now they provide you extremely structured data. The guy is happy, he's a male. So, okay, the structure is a bit scary, but the guy is actually happy, so don't worry about it. Okay? So emotions, huh? Now we read our emotions, and Financial has a smile to pay. That's how authentication is done. Actually, I will tell you more. And Financial, you go buy an insurance and you have an interview, Skype interview. And you think, oh, cool, they're presenting me some customer service. And then I spoke with some guy, we have something like 130 muscle on the face, they analyze everything. So by the time you say, I want my insurance, and no, I'm not a risk, and you crisp a little nerve somewhere on your face, buff, they got it. Okay? AI. So just for you, please be honest, because now you can't hide it anymore. Okay? To finish the example of customer service, this hotel is in Japan. I mean, our Japanese friends, they like the excitement, but think about this. Now, people go to the counter, and somehow, instead of, you know, you have a robot, a kind of humanoid, and a T-Rex, and it happens that people prefer to go to the humanoid. I don't know why, because, frankly, it's the same. I'll go in the background. Maybe I'm an engineer, okay? So now think about everything you can do. Customer service, customer interaction, online, insight. You can really transform your business model with all of this, because the data gives you the insight. The insights allows you to not do what is useless, really push on what is the value and increasing your profitability. So profitability model will be transformed by all of this. Okay, that was a bit of a rush. Now, what you really need to think about, it's not about the tech, it's about your understanding. You have the tech. Tech has been around for a while now. Okay, you get more tech and you get more awareness of what it can do. But it's about how you apply it in your business to your use case. And for this, you need to, same as usual, you need to understand your business objective. Okay, if you understand that well, then what you do, you try to augment your existing workers. You don't try, if you come to your organization and you say, I'm going to cut half of the staff, good luck. Okay, if you say, I'm going to augment everybody, ability to deliver, and then we'll take on more business, and actually you won't recruit so much, everybody is fine with that. After a while, if you eventually cut some heads, boom, that's part of business. Okay? So, but a lot of management teams have no clue, or very little. They are aware, but they have mostly no clue, and they are the key decision makers. And if they don't understand the revolution, which is actually ongoing, then they will be displaced. So education, awareness was the first step, education is the second. Okay? And somehow it's a relative game. People are telling me, wow, I'm going to lose my job tomorrow. And I'm saying, no, change will not happen like that. Change only happens at the pace of human. As much as we can take, yes, that's the pace. But it's not going to go faster than that. Thank you very much. Kevin and I are in the back. We have our stand. Come to see us. Any questions?